I get frustrated when people can't take the totality of everything and look at it. You know, go walk around the block before you assess, you know, whether you want to buy the house or not, or the building or not. Walk around the fucking block before you do that. But too many black people, they just kind of look at it from like one angle, myopically. They got tunnel vision, and that's how they look at it. And you pretty much did the same thing in your video. You know, oh well, if he's bringing sand to the beach, you know what? You know, well, is that all? Is that all you're bringing? If that's your complaint, my complaint is, well, then stop telling women to stop telling women to measure that. How do I say it? Stop women from measuring men by their financial stability and everything else. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But obviously it does matter, because you turn around and you say that it's about building this and building that. Well, it takes, if you want to build something like that, and you're really talking about it being, 50% in, like it's some type of business partnership arrangement, well, then the man's obviously got to come with something. The problem is, as Gotta Be Kidding Me said, women's view of themselves has changed over the last 30 years, but men's view of women has not. Now, some women would say that's men's problem, and the men would say, no, that's women's problem. If you ask me, I say it's women's problem, and I say it's women's problem for the sole reason of the fact that they continue to measure men by, financial achievement, financial stability, success, what type of car he has, what type of house he has, and I'm not even, these aren't gold diggers. These are I'm talking about the women who are smart, that says, hey, if I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get married and I'm going to become a part of a man's lifestyle, then, I want the man to be on point. But the women out here who are successful, and you feel as though you don't need that and you can go out there and get it yourself, fine, go out there and get it yourself. But please realize that most of the men who went out here and built this castle, okay, and went out their way to go build all these things, they did it for women, okay? So the only woman that's going to be compatible with them is a woman that is ready and willing to get along with his program. She can have her own money. She can have her own stuff. But men do these things for women. Okay, I know women want to sit there and say, oh, do it for yourself, dude. See, y'all have been indoctrinated with that shit, with the strong, independent black woman stuff about, don't let no man do this for you, da-da-da-da-da. See, a lot of women didn't get on that bullshit until you had a lot of black women, black mothers, who made poor choices in men, and then they got abandoned and left. And then they realized, out of survival, shit, I gotta get it myself. Okay, but they didn't start out that way. They didn't enter the world saying to themselves, I got to get it on my own. They went out here, they didn't get it on their own. They got involved with the wrong man, and shit didn't work out, and then they were, left, destitute. That's how it went. But the problem is now you have women who are growing up with this, I'm going to get it on my own, ideology. The men who got it together, and the men who are not out here to maliciously and vindictively mistreat women, they're out here building and building, because they're ready for that wonderful woman to enter their life and complete their picture. And then what you find is a lot of black women who have been indoctrinated with this, strong, independent black woman shit. They don't want to get with the man's program. So what you have is a lot of successful black men who, honestly, it's almost as though that they're being raised, and I've said this before, but nobody seems to pay attention to it, they're being raised to be with non-black women. Because their whole MO, the brothers out here going out of their way to build these castles and have their shit together, they're doing it underneath the idea and the premise of a woman getting with their program. And that is how a lot of other races of women, that is how they operate. So these men are more compatible with other races of women than what you find with a lot of successful black women. See, I think where black men and black women kind of missed each other is that black women, after being abandoned, maybe they picked the wrong guy, maybe they didn't, whatever, the mothers, they raised their daughters to be strong and independent, and provide for themselves, and even so they don't have the mentality of being dependent on a man. But they don't raise their men, and I don't even know if they should. They don't raise the boys to accept that from an early age. Black women are not teaching boys. See, I'm giving the sisterhood an idea right now. They're not teaching boys to accept that. Okay? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen until later, and that's what happens. You get the brothers that this is why you have this divide between black men. You get the brothers that fall off because they start listening to the man stroking, and the women, they come through and they start saying shit like, if you're intimidated by my success, or you should be with me. Meanwhile, you got the other women saying, I want a man on my level or a man exceeding my level. But that doesn't happen till later. It's not instilled in boys when they're young. They don't look at black women and say, oh, she's my equal. It's egalitarian. And, even though if I go out here and I build X, Y, and Z, I shouldn't expect her to look at me like this is anything special. No, that's not what we're told. We're not told that until later. We're not told that until we get there. And then we say, I've just spent fucking 20 years building this motherfucking castle. If you're not going to appreciate this shit, then get the fuck out. And that's why you get a lot of brothers that are not dealing with black women. Just take a step back and look at the whole situation. This is exactly what's out. This video can't be any more clear. Okay? The girls are being raised to I can get it on my own, blah, 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 blah. Even though they're still attracted to the most successful guy, they're still measuring men by their level of success. Okay? That hasn't been reprogrammed. You can't just go into a system and change one thing. It's like what would you call it? It's like organic chemistry, or what is that called? Stoichiometry. Is it stoichiometry? I forget what it's called. That shit's so long ago. Anyway, when you try to balance the equation, if you go into a chemistry equation and you're trying to get the carbons on one side to equal the carbons on the other side, you know what I mean? And I got glucose on one side, and I got water and carbon dioxide on the other side. If I change one side, if I make, 2 glucose on one side, I got to balance out the other side. I can't just leave it alone. But that's precisely what a lot of black women have done with the mindset. It's like a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. Nobody wants to talk about the women making poor choices in men. So these women, they get abandoned, they get left alone, whatever. And hey, I'm not going to lie, maybe some guy just did the woman wrong. But they raise the girls to be strong and independent, and they raise the girls to defend for themselves, get this for yourselves, all this other stuff. The boys, on the other hand, they're confronted with this, black men don't do, black men don't do. And a lot of black boys, including myself, including Captain Solo, and other men out here, we're raised like, well, damn, these black women are just talking so horrible about what's so messed up with black men. Well, shit, let me get my shit together. And so we go out here and we put the blinders on and we build. And then when we get out here, we're like, okay, we're looking for these decent quality black women to be with. And then we realize that even the quality black, I'll just say quality in the sense of education and style and grace and everything else, overall package. Those women, they look at us like, that doesn't impress me. And we're like, that doesn't impress you? But y'all, we grew up hearing all this, niggas ain't shit, niggas in jail, niggas is fucked up, I have my castle. Ta-da! And then black women go, I'm not impressed. And then I go out here and I come across another race of woman. She's impressed. You know why she's impressed? She's impressed because that's what she's wanted. That's what her ideologies did not change. White girls are not being raised to be strong. No white woman you need to be strong and independent. Maybe a few who had the same situation as no father, and they saw their mom go through. There's a white woman sitting on Housewives of New York. The blonde chick who owns like the metal what is it? The trophy company with her husband. You know what I'm saying? I mean, truthfully,